19th of December 1904. Dearest Mother, I have recently travelled to Leeds to write a feature for the English Ladies' Journal on a most lovely country home, Lotherton Hall.
Good afternoon, Miss Atkinson. Please, come in.
Since last year, they have had new electrical lights in the house, and I believe our readers will be interested to learn about the installation.
May I take your cloak and hat? Follow me.
Mrs. Gascoigne has been responsible for selecting decorative electrical fittings in the most exquisite taste. They are a most progressive family, even their servants have electrical lighting. However, I wish to also learn more of the circumstances surrounding an accident which recently took place on the premises. One of the maids received an electrical shock which has quite shattered her nerves and left her in a rather agitated state. I first interviewed Colonel Gascoigne.
Good afternoon, Miss Atkinson. Has Lucy offered you some tea? Ah, no. Lucy, could you fetch some tea for our guest, please? Thank you.
Thank you kindly, Colonel Gascoigne. Our readers are so interested to learn of the growing popularity of electrical lighting in the household. I see you have some lovely lights here at Lotherton, and I trust they are quite new.
Yes, thank you. We had them for about a year now. I particularly like the way they glisten and gleam off my collection of coins and medals. I've done a lot of travelling, you see.
It is a pleasure to be welcomed so warmly into your home today, Mrs. Gascoigne. Our readers will so enjoy learning of Lotherton Hall in our upcoming issue.
You are most welcome, Miss Atkinson. It is always such a pleasure to have guests from London to visit, especially when they are writing so charmingly about our lovely home. Please, let me introduce you to my friend, Miss Sybil Gray. She is an actress in the theatre, you know, so she too is well accustomed to the pleasures of electric lighting.
Do you take an interest in decorative electricity, by way of the fixtures and fittings themselves becoming, as it were, ornaments?
My wife tends to entertain herself with the appearance of the decorative lighting. It is more the machinery and the science that is the beauty of it. And I can go about my daily tasks even after the light has gone down.
Ah, it is brighter here than it used to be, I assume. Did you have gas lighting beforehand?
No, gas lighting is far too unhygienic. Unlike electricity, electricity is very hygienic. Also, we have these coal bells, which is far better than having bells and string.
May I ask you, Miss Gray, do you come into contact with electricity on a day-to-day basis in the theatre?
Absolutely. We often perform on stages lit up entirely with electrical lighting, but I must say it is rather unfaithful for the female countenance. It tends to wash my face out, make my complexion look rather pale. But no matter, for I simply adore applying makeup, don't you, Mrs. Gascoigne? There is nothing to hide under the lights.
Well, of course. Decorative lights, I find, complement the female form and keep our appearance in order. But the light bulbs that we use here are not nearly so bright as the lights you perform under in the theatre, Sybil.
I almost thought they were candles, but they are so lovely.
How quaint. The lighting in this room, for example, is particularly complimentary to a woman's skin. Look at you, Miss Atkinson. You look simply radiant in this light.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Gascoigne. It's very kind of you to say. Now, our readership is very concerned with the safety surrounding electrical lighting in the household, following the recent accident on your property involving...
Wherever is Lucy with your tea? I'm very aware of the recent incident, and I'm deeply apologetic, but it will not happen again.
Right, well, one more question, Colonel Gascoigne. What safety precautions will you be carrying out at the property to avoid any further accidents?
Our electrical systems have been rigorously tested, and our maids take heed from one another. It will not happen again, I promise. Now, good afternoon, Miss Atkinson.
I understand you are all aware of the recent unfortunate incident involving one of your employees and an electrical shock. I was wondering if, as the housekeeper, you might enlighten me a little more on the topic.
I have nothing to disclose about the incident. What happened to Mary was sad, but we have to take the risk of electricity. It's dangerous, and everyone knows that.
May I ask, how do you feel following the recent accident on the property involving one of your employees and the electric shock?
Ah, yes. Poor young Mary. Yes, we were all saddened by what happened, but I have been reassured that her condition is much improved these days.
You were very upset. I recall you wrote to me not the day after it happened to inform me of it all.
Yes, I was rather heartbroken. In fact, I had been planning to host an afternoon tea the following weekend, but I simply could not continue with it under such distressing circumstances. Would anyone care for a cup of tea? Lucy, tea!
And how do you feel working in a home with electricity? Following Mary's accident, of course.
Honestly, I don't like it at all. But we've got to take risks while working.
I have friends who won't work in houses with electricity.
Be quiet, Bertha.
Do you like the electric lights? I mean, they're not nearly so decorative down here as they are in the family rooms.
Of course not. But it used to be much worse down here. We only had candles and oil lamps. It was so dark down here.
Yes, but now it's too bright.
Don't understand it. I'm quite scared of it, to be honest.
Oh, hush you. You're much too young to understand.
Colonel Gascoigne mentioned also a new system of electrical call bells. How exactly do these work?
Oh, well, they press the button in their rooms, and over there's a buzzing sound, and a little indicator on a board shows us which room they're calling from.
How interesting. Does it make a large difference to your work?
Not really, no.
Well, I'd much rather the buzzer than that old bell we used to have.
Just another thing to use electricity for, I reckon.
Do tell me, Miss Atkinson, do you have electricity in your home?
Regrettably not yet, but I am assured that it shan't be long before my house too is fully equipped with the latest in domestic fashion.
Oh, how wonderful. How exciting that you get to experience it in your own home. The air is much purer for it, you know. None of those dirty, sooty candles.
These lights are just far too bright.
Well, the old ones were far too dark.
Yes, but that light's straining my eyes.
But the old lamps were dangerous and smelly, and the mess they made of the ceilings and the wallpaper.
I don't care much about lighting.
Bertha!
Richard, do you think Miss Atkinson thought our lights were as pretty as the ones she's seen in London?
Don't worry, dear, they're in very good taste indeed, and every bit as splendid as the finest lights of London. I'm sure she was very impressed.
Thank you. I think I've got something to write about in the next issue.
Thank you, Miss Exton. Please let me show you out. And Bertha, polish the silverware for tomorrow's dinner party.
But what about poor Mary?
We've done everything we can to stop it happening again. Let her write what she will, but an accident is just that, an accident.
Did we do all right, do you think?
I think so. We made sure not to talk too much about the incident, like the Colonel and Lady told us.
She seemed nice, and fancy her being a writer. She's so modern.
I know. I bet she understands electricity better than we do. I wish I knew what it was all about.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, imagine if me or you could go and learn about it like Colonel Gascoigne did. We could be electrical engineers. Imagine me putting electrical wires through a house. I've always been really good with my hands. I can sew really well, and my dining's first rate, my old man says. I reckon that's what wiring a house would be like sewing. All those threads of copper going everywhere, holding the house together.
Oh, be quiet, Ruth. Don't be so ridiculous. Who ever heard of a woman being an electrician? Now come along. That dinner won't cook itself.
It is a beautiful house, Mother. As I left in the chill of the darkening winter evening, the windows were aglow with welcoming light, like a warm beacon in the gathering dusk. Still, I could not help but think of the poor maid, and of others who have come to even more harm by electrical installations in the home poorly managed or misunderstood. If we are all to use electricity someday, as the companies would have us believe, I hope this progress can be achieved without further harm to those of us who would dare to place our faith in this new and most mysterious agency of electricity.